right, what's going on, fellas? Welcome back to the Road to 880 whatever part we're on. We're doing this bad boy in one take because Kirsten and I have got to get into town to go do my overhead workout and then a little bit of last-minute Christmas shopping. So here's my workout from yesterday. Same deadlift workout you saw last week. This week I started again with the pause squats because I'm looking at a show in May that may or may not have a squat for maximum, in which case I need to place a little bit more emphasis on my back squatting prowess. That will be seen. I didn't really actually like doing the pause squats beforehand. They actually felt pretty good doing them after my deadlifts last time, so might keep them there. No sleeves, no belt, no nothing, just doing some pause squats. Miscounted my top set of like 435. It was supposed to be a fairly comfortable set of 8. Can't count, so I did 7. Kind of kicking myself afterward for that. But all in all, training is going pretty goddamn well. Kind of finishing up this kind of exploratory phase where I was like kind of feeling out what amounts of volume I could push up to while still kind of working on my events. Got a better wrap on like how many weekly sets of each motor pattern I'm looking for, what variations I want to include. Everything's going well for all things considered. I'm pretty darn strong right now. We're going to get to my deadlifts in a moment once I finish warming up with these here squats. Squats look okay, a little jumpy on the first couple of pauses. Could be a little bit better, but these felt like shit because my legs were still pretty sore from my primary squat day, so I'll take it. It is what it is. Been wearing a pair of the Reebok Legacy lifters, which is a squat shoe with a 1-inch heel, just kind of messing around with it, seeing how she goes, and then I don't know. We might stick with it. We might not. Been doing a lot of bare knee work just as a way to reduce the amount of weight on the bar. And that's been pretty nice. Just a little bit less work for the back if we're just lifting a little bit less total weight. Then we moved on to, here. This is not the deadlifts. Here are my hanging knee raises. I started doing these holding a dumbbell between my feet, and then I realized that the tib bar was a perfect way to weight those. I do 3 sets through the workout. I kind of just do them as a floater exercise, as Paris likes to say, where I do 1 set before my squats, I do 1 set before my deadlifts, and then I do 1 set before my assistance work for the 3 sets I do through the workout. Just spacing them out like that for some reason for me is enjoyable. I like to have that like light ab pump the whole time. Makes my back feel nice and sturdy. I do the same thing with the weighted sit-ups I'm doing on my primary squat days. 1 set before my first motion, 1 set before my second motion, 1 set before my assistance work. Deadlifts were feeling damn good today. Feeling like I've got a little bit more control of that kind of rounded thoracic posture I've been really trying to build up. As a guy who has big dreams of deadlifting a lot of weight with relatively poor leverages, because everybody always comments on my bench and my squat like, wow, what great leverages. I wish I had your leverages. Fair enough. But nobody says, damn, what bad deadlift leverages. They're pretty rough. And so I've found that it's kind of a necessity for me to kind of get really good at that rounded thoracic posture that gives me a better position off the floor, kind of artificially lengthens my arms. But I have to be pretty good at limiting that rounding to my thoracic, because if it bleeds into kind of a whole back round, my lockout gets really shitty. So kind of establishing mastery of that position is something that's been very important for me becoming a high-level deadlifter despite somewhat suboptimal leverages. Here was my 3rd set of 5 at 615 pounds, moving really easy. These feel great. Forgot to film the second one, which was very smart of me. Here is Max's top single because we've been training together for my deadlifting days, which has been a good bit of fun. Then moved on to my rack pulls, just an elevated height deadlift. Again, do not worry. This is a beater bar. It is already bent. It's not a nice Ohio bar that I'm going to bend doing these rack pulls. We have a dedicated rack pull bar now at the gym. So do not worry. I definitely understand. Blocks, good, dandy. But we got this fancy Mike Bartos deadlift rig that's right next to where I deadlift. So I was pretty keen to work it into the program. And because I'm a strong man, being good from elevated heights is almost as important as being good at deadlifting from the floor. So kind of challenging that skill year round is relatively important, right? You can sometimes get to the point where you're really, really, really good off the floor. And if you never work on that skill, you're actually worse from elevated heights. Pretty common for powerlifters who rely on a little bit more speed off the floor. I know Luke Richardson was deadlifting like 900 for reps from the floor on comp plates and then showed up to a show with an elevated height pull and got stapled by like 400 kilos, so 880, just because he relied so much on that speed off the floor and he hadn't really challenged it. Now, obviously, with one brief training cycle, if you've got the general physicality and you've got the musculature to be pulling big weights from the floor, you can probably get good from height with a little bit of training, which is why I kind of treat that most difficult version of the pull, which is the pull from the floor, preferably on a stiff bar, as kind of the off-season base for most of my strongman guys, because I would rather we sign up for a contest and whatever you signed up for is similar to or easier than what we did for the off-season. I don't want to be in the situation where we were doing an easier setup through the whole off-season. We sign up and suddenly we have to do something a good bit more difficult. I like to try to avoid that. But that being said, working in a little bit of elevated height pulling, if you know that's something you struggle with, like myself, that can be something that makes a good bit of sense in the off-season in your pursuit of becoming a well-rounded deadlifter, meaning good from the floor, good from height, good for singles, good from reps, right? Like kind of being more of a complete deadlifter rather than just a 1 rep max from the floor kind of guy. Max and I each did our 3 sets of hamstring curls here. Pretty standard. You're always just looking at a back extension and a hamstring curl for us after deadlifts. Kind of just working the 2 main functions of the hamstrings, hip extension and knee flexion, putting in 3 sets. Both Max and I took it pretty easy on the back extensions this week because our low backs were pretty fried. Things are getting a little bit heavier on the deadlifts. So just trying to drive a good pump to the glutes and the hamstrings and just continue developing work capacity. I forgot to do it, but I've been meaning to do a quick hold at the top of each of these. Just a good habit to develop some extra isometric strength in the low back, which is something that I could always use more of. Appreciate you guys for watching my video. I'm trying to get in the habit of plugging it. I do have a Patreon in the description. There's not much on there, but if you have any questions about your training that you would like my thoughts on, that is the easiest way to reach me. Eventually, I will add more stuff on there, but for now, it's just a way to get a hold of me. I got that one bench program up on there. I appreciate you guys' support as always. It's been a good bit of fun with all the growth from going on Bromley's channel again, to be seeing so much growth on the YouTube. A little stressful to see how many views I'm getting, but a good bit of fun. Reminder, if you like the video, like the video. Appreciate you boys as always.